Amen. In 2019, when I arrived at the chamber, we owed hundreds of thousands of dollars on a mortgage that we had been paying for almost 40 years. It was a top priority of mine to ensure that at some point in the near future, we would retain or obtain ownership of all of our portfolio across the Fair Park area. With some assistance from some great partners and donors, I was able to raise 80% of the capital needed to actually buy the mortgage out and get ready to demolish the building. I needed a final 20% of that funding, and I didn't know who I could turn to. And I went everywhere. I looked under every rock. I called everybody. I pulled the lint out of my pocket. But in the end, the people who saved me were my executive committee and my board. I turned to them and I said, I need this influx of cash now. It can't wait. We are negotiating with a bank. And they quickly obliged me. So I want to say thank you again to the board because you bailed out the organization. I'm also very grateful for a board trusting probably the youngest president the organization has ever had to go in and negotiate not only one property, but also other properties in our portfolio, like the corner of Malcolm X and MLK, which is maybe one of 3 major cities to have such an intersection in the nation. So we're very excited about that. And with this demolition, we're addressing blight on MLK. We believe that demolishing this property is going to improve the safety of this corridor and of this street. This is particularly important when we consider all the development that's coming to Fair Park through the Brymer Bill, investments that are coming to the historic Forest Theater, which range in the hundreds of millions as well. And with all this economic activity springing onto the MLK corridor, we want to invite community members, business owners, elected officials, and faith leaders to come and dream with us to strategically develop 2838 MLK in ways that could positively impact the communities that we serve, and specifically this community. We want to seize this opportunity to make our MLK the nicest MLK in the nation. And how can we get this? The question that we keep asking ourselves as an organization and as leaders is, how can we use this property to build the chamber that not only supports businesses and nonprofits today, but also into the 22nd century? And as we look forward to leaving this building in the past, and we look forward to the future with the help of and leadership of chairmen like Randall Bryant, who has already made great impact in just 24 days. I want to now invite to the stage one of the chamber's greatest chairpersons. She is the first Black woman to lead this Chamber of Commerce, the first Black Chamber of Commerce in the nation. She also was the chair that opened this office that we're about to demolish back in 1981. She christened it. And among other things, she's also the honorable duly elected person to our State House and many, many other titles. I'd like to welcome to the stage the Honorable Helen Giddens.
Thank you all so very much, and I'm delighted to have an opportunity to be here. I will tell you, my office tried on numerous occasions to get President Blair to give me a time frame. He never did, and so I brought a book. But I'm not going to read it all. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to be present today for the announcement as to the future plans for the building for the Dallas Black Chamber of Commerce. I remember well the opening of that building next door in 1981. I remember perhaps even more vividly that it was R.A. Hester who encouraged me to run for chair of the Dallas Black Chamber of Commerce and to build a new building. The building that the chamber had occupied was being torn down, and we were housed at that time in the Wynwood Village. It was a challenging time for women in the Dallas Black Chamber of Commerce. It was fine for us to do the work and raise the money, but no woman had been elected chair. No woman had shattered that glass ceiling. And Mr. Hester himself, a former chair of the board, believed that I had earned the right to sit in that chair. Right. And with his help, I did. He also encouraged me to build a new building. I invited him for dinner at my home, and he told me he wanted my administration to build a building for the chamber. I thought about whether or not I should say this the way he said it, because it might be a little offensive, but Mr. Hester told me that he thought the difference in owning a building and renting one was sort of like cohabitating and being married. If you're just cohabitating and somebody gets mad, you just pick up your stuff and leave. If you're married, you got a lot of stuff that you got to own. So he believed that owning the building ensured that the chamber was going to be around for a while. So he came to my house for dinner, and when we finished talking, he pulled out his checkbook and he wrote a check for $2,000. Now that was not a lot of money today, Diane, but back in 1980, that was a nice contribution. And with that contribution, the chamber created for the first time its lifetime membership, and he was the first person. Because of that contribution, and with that contribution, I think Mr. Hester demonstrated his confidence in me and in